Welcome back, everybody, to the Jolie Podcast. I'm your host, Joe, and today we are doing Best of the Super Juniors 29, Block B, Day 1. So, everyone right under here that I'm blocking currently will be in contention. Well, I guess they already were. But yeah, so Day 2 of the tournament. Day 1 was pretty exciting. If you haven't watched that video yet, I will link it at the end of this video, so you can go back and watch Day 1 of Block A. So, like I mentioned before, a lot of guys in Block B I have no idea about. I had mentioned before that that I know a couple guys over here. So El Phantasmo, TJP, and my boy Blackpool Combat Club Wheeler Yuta. So basically, these are kind of the guys that I already knew of. So everyone else is pretty new to me. I forgot Bushi is another guy that I know a little bit about because he's with LIJ, and LIJ is pretty big or pretty popular in the US as far as like Japanese factions go. Okay, I kind of want to just jump straight into it, and Lindenman versus Doku. Like I said before, I had never watched anything by either of these two guys. Commentary calls Douki the fighting lunatic as he's coming out. They also said that Douki represents Suzuki Gun. Lindenman comes out with, I believe it was the GTX championship. I have no idea what GTX is. Let me know if it's like a Japanese company or something like that. I don't think it's a New Japan championship because they call all their championships IWGP, except for the Never, the Openweight championship. But anywho, Lindenman tries to actually like get on the corner, and he ends up falling or like tripping on the second rope. So that was pretty funny. Okay. Also, he represents GLEAT, which I'm not 100% sure what that is either. So, if you want to let me know in the comments what GLEAT is, I'm sure that implies it's a faction. I'm just not like 100% sure like what it is. He's literally like the first person I've seen representing that. So, match starts with back and forth strikes between Doku and Lindenman. Lindenman hits a drop kick and turns it into a lariat. He pumps up the crowd only to get kicked repeatedly in the head by Doku. Douki, I'm sorry, mispronunciation. After the second kick, Lindenman hits a net breaker and follows it up with some elbows to the back, but Douki is able to use the ropes against Lindenman. Douki gets Lindenman into a chokehold, but Lindenman gets to the ropes, gets a rope break. Douki attempts a suplex, but after several reversals, Lindenman gets a dropkick in, and both competitors end up being down. Lindenman gets an arm drag into a DDT for a 2 count. Then Lindenman pumps up the crowd and goes up to the corner and hits a missile dropkick. Douki gets an enziguri into a bridging kick. Both exchange strikes, and Lindenman finishes the exchange with an exploder suplex. Lindenman follows it up with a double stomp on Douki, and then Lindenman goes to the top of the ropes, but Douki gets the Douki choki, which is like a Italian stretch. Kind of has like the legs right here as he's like pulling on his arms. But Lindenman falls into like the ropes after a while. Douki gets into the corner and gets powerbomb for a 2 count, and both competitors go back and forth with different types of roll-ups. Then Douki gets his Douki choki again and turns it into a roll-up, and then Lindenman turns it into a snap German suplex. Into a tiger suplex, and but then it's countered for a 2 count, and Douki hits the suplex de la Luna for the 3 count and the 2 points. So Lindenman will face Titan, and Douki will face Wheeler Yuta on Thursday. Yeah, I didn't get too much out of these guys. I don't think I saw necessarily like enough to like give a judgment whether any of these guys are like incredible or not. Obviously, like some company has put their GTX championship on Lindenman, so they see some sort of potential in him. Again, it could be just because like I'm misconstruing like how Japanese people look, but Lindenman looks quite young. I'd have to look into like what his age actually is, but yeah, he did a good job here. Again, it wasn't like any 5-star classic or anything like that. It was just kind of a run of the mill cruiserweight Super Junior sort of match, and I feel like I personally need to see more out of Lindenman in order to say whether or not he's like a really good wrestler. But yeah, good enough. All right, next match: El Phantasmo versus Bushi. El Phantasmo represents Bullet Club and has a really cool like LED jacket. It's kind of like RGB looking. It looks like a walking computer. So yeah, that was pretty cool. It has kind of like spikes on it as well. And his theme song is very like EDM-ish. That's something about like the production that I have been kind of iffy about, is like I didn't really get a lot of like the music that was being played for the entrances of the wrestlers. Some of the songs fit, like El Desperado song was just like a Spanish guitar. El Phantasmo has like that EDM vibe, so he had a really like loud EDM song. But there's a lot of other wrestlers which I didn't really like catch their theme songs and didn't think too much about them. And that's kind of like a big thing, especially for wrestlers, is like their entrance music. So I would like to see like either them turn up the volume a little bit on the music, or just kind of have some more songs that are clear. Again, just minor nitpicks, but I think it would help the total production of the tournament. I'll get to that later. But okay, so Phantasmo calls himself the Headbanger. Again, another EDM reference, because that's what you do at an EDM concert or at concerts in general. Now Bushi, I'm slightly familiar with Bushi. I know he's been the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion a couple of times. He is obviously with LIJ. He's like Naito's cruiserweight basically. And specifically in this match, he was wearing a mask over a mask. I think he does this quite often. But yeah, this mask was very weird. It was just basically a bunch of like silver stripes that supposedly I think were like metal. It looked quite weird in my opinion. But I guess this is just part of his gimmick. Okay, arm and elbow tie up to start the match. El Phantasmo starts by El Phantasmo reverses all of these arm and elbow tie ups and ends up just like kind of like strutting around the ring. And then Bushi ends up actually kicking El Phantasmo because Phantasmo's not paying attention. And this is kind of like a theme to the match, is that El Phantasmo doesn't has a lot of openings because he likes to like flex on the crowd a lot. Bushi goes to the top rope, hits a drop kick and tries to go for a dive, but fakes and taunts El Phantasmo, very similar to what Naito does when he does the tranquilo. Okay, roll up for a 2 count into an arm drag, and Bushi goes for a springboard, but is countered by a kick by El Phantasmo. Phantasmo takes off Bushi's shirt and starts choking him. They're on the apron, so he like pushes him back into the ring and tries to get a pinfall, but only gets 2. Then Phantasmo does a stall vertical suplex for another 2 count. Bushi comes in with some chops, but El Phantasmo strikes Bushi's head with his knees. Phantasmo contorts Bushi's fingers and follows it up with some chops. Later, he does some like aerial maneuvers on the ropes for like a simple back scratch, and he does this like several times. Again, like these were every time that El Fantasma had an opening was because he was like taunting or like showing off to the crowd. The third time he does like tries doing the same maneuver where he gets on the ropes and he walks the ropes and then he like tries doing a maneuver. This ends up giving Bushi an opening, so he kicks the rope and El Fantasma drops in his in-betweens. Bushi hits a tope suicida. Both roll in. Bushi hits some chops and sends El Fantasma to the diagonal corner and turns it into a DDT for a 2 count. Bushi then hits a net breaker. Phantasmo tries to counter, but then it's reversed into an enziguri. And then Bushi hits a neck breaker for another 2 count. Phantasmo gets the fireman's carry into a double knee gut buster for a 2 count. Phantasmo tries the CR2 but gets rolled up. After exchanging some near falls and some strikes, Phantasmo hits a lariat and both go down. As they're both slowly getting up, they strike each other. Bushi follows it up with a drop kick and a backcracker for another 2 count. And then Bushi goes to the top and missed. And then Phantasmo hits a super kick into the see you later for the 3 count. I believe that's the CR2. That's, I believe, how the announcers had said it. El Phantasmo gets the 3 count, so he gets the 2 points here. And I was actually expecting Bushi to win this, because especially since he's kind of like the other like big LIJ representation right here. Although I guess he's kind of like second to Hiromu. So this caught me by surprise. I typically thought that El Phantasmo was more of a jobber, no offense to El Phantasmo, but no, commentary was actually saying, I believe after the match or very close to the end of the match, that El Phantasmo last year had a 6-match win streak, which is pretty cool. So trying to learn not to underestimate anyone. I think it's a good point of view here. Phantasmo gets 2 points. Bushi will face Robby Eagles on Thursday, and Phantasmo versus Master Wato on Thursday as well. Speaking of Robby Eagles, Wheeler Yuta versus Robby Eagles. This is the match I was looking forward to the most. Consequently, it's ended up being my favorite match of the night as well. Very close between this one and TJP versus Master Wato. Those two were pretty good matches. All right, little background on Wheeler Yuta because I haven't been covering AEW recently because of school. Wheeler Yuta represents Blackpool Combat Club and is the ROH Pure Champion. His coaches are William Regal, John Moxley, and Daniel Bryanson. Hopefully we'll see him in the G1 Climax. It's looking very likely because of this whole like NJPW, AEW collaborations going on. So I'm sure we'll get some AEW guys in the G1 Climax. Eagles is a former junior tag champion and comes out with like some weird like eye patch thing, and he represents Chaos. He also is wearing like a bandana as a scarf and was wearing a bandana as well. So again, weird in my opinion, but I mean it's this guy's look. I guess he's trying not to look like Will Ospreay a little bit, because I remember when Ospreay was in Chaos, it gives me these similar like vibes between those two. Okay, Eagles gets an arm lock on Yuta. Yuta reverses into a chokehold. They continue the lock exchange with several reversals. Both miss several key moves, or both dodge several key moves. Yeah, it's more dodging than missing. Yuta starts targeting the left arm of Eagles. Yuta gets a hammerlock, then a body slam, and then hits a senton. for a 2 count, followed by some kicks and chops to the chest. He gets a forearm to the face, but Eagles uses the ropes to escape into a head scissors. Yuta, we get chops by Eagles into a basement drop kick for a 1 count. So Wheeler Yuta kind of showing his toughness here. Eagles continues the kicks to the head, and then Yuta strikes back, and then oh man, I have like a typo right here. My bad. Okay. Okay, and then Eagles continues trying to hit him, only to like anger Wheeler Yuta more, and then Yuta comes back with some forearm strikes, followed by a drop kick into an enziguri, and then Yuta goes to the top rope and follows all those moves up with a flying forearm. Eagles manages to swing the momentum and kick the knee of Yuta, followed by some yes kicks. So, I mean, the commentary didn't say it was yes kicks, but I thought it was pretty clever that he used the yes kicks on Wheeler Yuta, considering his background. And then after that, he hits a blind midsection kick, so probably in the back or upper back. Eagles hits double knees to the chest and tries to sweep Yuta's leg, only for Yuta to dodge the sweep. Yuta catches Eagles into a suplex, but Eagles lands on his feet and hits a blindside elbow and follows it up with double knees to the face in the corner for a 2 count. Eagles goes for a 450, but Yuta rolls out of the way. Both exchange kicks and go down after a kick and a forearm exchange. While they're getting up, they're kind of like exchanging slaps with each other, and then it turns into a forearm exchange. And Eagles like responds to all of this with several kicks and a roll up for a 2 count. Eagles sets up the turbo backpack, but Yuta reverses it with a hold. But Eagles manages to escape into the Ron Miller special submission. But Yuta gets the rope break. Both get roll ups for 2, and a backslide attempt is made by both. But Yuta gets one for the 2 count. After several other roll up attempts, Robby Eagles gets a roll up for a 3 count, and he earns 2 points. Yeah, fun match. I really liked it. Both these guys are fairly fast paced. This is actually very compressed down notes of the match. The match was a lot faster, and I might have missed stuff. I had to like pause, rewind, because a lot of the segments in this match were so quick that if I spent time typing up everything that happened, we'd be here for a while. So I tried condensing like the notes down to just try to get the main points of the match, the main turnaround points. But yeah, if you're a guy that's like into like a lot of reversals or a lot of like escape movements, this is kind of the match for you, because both of these guys did a lot of like reversal stuff. So very good. They stayed pretty grounded. I thought they were going to be a little more... I thought Robby Eagles was going to be quite more high-flying, but no, he stayed pretty grounded. Only pulled out some aerial maneuvers when it was absolutely necessary. So quite the match by these two. I recommend, if you're going to watch one match, either this one or the TJP versus Master Wato match. Speaking of that, TJP Master Wato I believe this is the semi-main event. Yeah. Okay. TJP represents United Empire. By the way, I forgot to mention yesterday that Francesco Akira is also part of United Empire. So it seems like almost every faction has 2 members in this tournament. So Bullet Club has, I guess I technically have 3, with Sho and Taiji Ishimori, Phantasmo. Yeah, so United Empire represented by Francesco Akira and TJP. TJP calls himself the public enemy and is accompanied by Francesco Akira. So Francesco Akira and TJP seem to be very good friends, I guess, in storyline terms. Okay. TJP drops kicks Master Wato. I don't know why I say Maestro. Master Wato before Wato could get his jacket off. TJP looks for a splash. Wato dodges and steps up the tope con hiro. Wato brings TJP into the ring and goes to the top, but TJP counters with a drop kick. TJP kicks Wato in the corner, but then Wato dodges after a while. TJP dodges Wato's moves and hits a jumping back kick. Wato hits forearms and knees to the corner. TJP sends Wato to the corner and gets some small kicks in before winding up to the near corner and hitting another kick, which he turns into a power slam and then turns that into a rope assisted senton. Now, when I mentioned like he winds up in a corner, I don't mean the corner that's like diagonal. I mean one of the corners that's adjacent to the ring, to that corner. TJP gets an arm lock in and Wato escapes, but any attempt to gain control of the match is dodge. TJP gets a leg lock and turns it into several moves that I was personally unfamiliar with. So again, one of those cases where like the match is going so fast and there's so many moves going on that if I like try to say all the moves that happen in this section, we'd probably be here for like another 10 minutes. But yeah, a lot of moves that I'm not particularly familiar with. So if you're interested in that, go watch the match. Again, this match was very good anyways. TJP gets some chops in on Wato and gets a modified Hurricane Rana into a submission. TJP forces a pin, but Wato bridges up and drop kicks TJP. He hits him with an elbow and a boot and another drop kick into TJP's shoulder. Wato turns it into an enziguri in the apron and uses an aerial maneuver for a 2 count. TJP then rolls up Wato for a 2. Wato German suplexes TJP and tries a power slam, but it is countered into a kick. Wato kicks TJP, but then TJP turns it into a slam on the mat. Both get up, and Wato charges the corner, but TJP gets a DDT and a 2 count. TJP goes for the Mamba Splash, but misses. Wato slams TJP into the mat and goes to the top, but TJP shoves Wato and sets up a superplex. And then Wato throws TJP, goes for the RPP, and TJP hits the Mamba Splash into a submission for the win and the 2 points. TJP will face El Desperado on Thursday. Yeah, great match by both of these guys. Very fast paced, kind of like the other one, but like different in its own like style. In its own sense, there was more aerial maneuvers here and a lot more like use of the ropes to try to get out of like locks or like dodging like several moves, or using the corner to like do knee strikes and stuff like that, or trying to like set up for aerial maneuvers and then like countering them on the ropes. So very good match by both of these guys. I'm looking forward to see more of TJP because I know how good he is from Cruiserweight Classic. So it was good seeing him here. Personally, after watching every match, I think if I'm rooting for someone in the B block, it's probably TJP. Now, I think the storyline they're trying to set up here is that now that Wato has lost to TJP, or TJP got the win over Wato, I feel like they're gonna. I know TJP is probably not gonna win, but if Francesco Akira can beat Taguchi in the A block side, then we're probably going to end up with the junior tag titles on the line at Dominion. Yeah, because in the post interview, which I had to look up on the YouTube channel, he's talking to Wato and he says he wants to go for the titles. Actually, post match, he was kind of like insinuating that he wanted the titles as well. So I think they're going for the junior tag titles that Taguchi and Master Wato have. So that should be pretty good too. Looking forward to that match. All right, main event time. El Desperado versus Titan. El Desperado represents Suzuki Gun, and Titan is from CMLL, which I had heard some stuff about, like them not having a great partnership a while ago, but then somehow that got resolved. But yeah, Titan hasn't been part of the Best of the Super Junior since 2019, so it's not his first time around in the tournament, and kind of showed here, except for the undermining El Desperado, because, well, we'll get into that in a second. All right, Titan offers a handshake, but Desperado says no. The fast-paced lock attempts by both competitors is what really starts this match. Desperado offers the hand after, escaping all these locks, but it's basically a trick, and he like pokes the eyes of Titan. Titan hits some chops, and walks the ropes into a head scissors, but goes for the tope suicida, but El Desperado hits a spear on the suicida attempt. Both go to the outside and chop each other, but Desperado power slams Titan on the outside. Desperado stomps on Titan. Titan tries to chop Desperado, but Desperado messes with Titan's mask. Then gets a headlock, but Titan gets a rope break. Desperado tries to rip the mask of Titan off, but just kind of gets like a big hole. So like basically there's like a huge rip from like right here all the way down to like his nose. Desperado backdrops Titan and starts to target the leg and gets in an Indian deathlock. Titan escapes and hits a jumping back kick, but goes to the apron and head scissors Desperado over the top rope, and then follows it up with an Asai moonsault. Titan stomps on Desperado and rolls him into the ring for a missile dropkick for a 2 count. Titan after that is limping, kind of like it was kind of the target of the whole match. Dragon screw on Desperado into a figure 4 leg lock. So at this point, both competitors are injured in one of their legs, but a rope break stops the lock. Desperado targets the injured leg, but Titan does the same to Desperado. Titan hits the ropes, but Desperado gets a spine buster into a submission. Titan gets the rope break and then chops Desperado. And Desperado answers right back with his own chops. Back and forth they go until Titan hits a midsection kick and hits a tornado DDT. Titan goes for the corner and hits Desperado in the midsection again. Does a maneuver using the top ropes. Goes for the double stomp on Desperado for a 2 count. Desperado hits a spear and ends up slamming Titan down on the mat. Desperado goes for his signature move, which is called the Pinche Loco. And then Titan rolls him up for 2. Desperado hits his signature move, which I will not repeat because it's a cuss word in Spanish, and gets the 3 count. Desperado earns 2 points. Post-match, Desperado says he is grateful that Titan came to New Japan Pro Wrestling and asks him to have more luchas, or, matches, fights. And then then Desperado gets on the mic and starts talking about stuff that was not translated. He was saying all this stuff in Japanese, so I did not have a direct translation into what he was saying. Yeah, day 2 or day 1 of Block B was, in my opinion, not as good as A Block. I think A Block has the better wrestlers. Even though I love TJP and I appreciate the style that Bushi brings, I'm just not getting as much quality, in my opinion, as much character as the A Block. I think A Block's going to be the most fun out of both the blocks. But I could be proven wrong. We could get some crazy matches. Maybe these matches were just kind of meh, but I have a feeling we're going to get more intense matches as we get closer to the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors. So honestly, not too bad for day 1 of Block B. I definitely feel like A Block brought it like way more and kind of had like more substance. I don't know, something was missing out of B Block to get me excited. The Wato match and the Wheeler Yuta match were the best matches in my opinion. I think the Wato and TJP match should have probably been the main event, but I can see why they put El Desperado at the end, because they were pretty much kind of hyping up El Desperado throughout the beginning of the match and towards the end of the match. So Desperado seems to be kind of like the guy for New Japan right now, so we will see how that goes. All right, upcoming stuff. Day 2 of Block A and the AEW Dynamite review. I am prioritizing the AEW Dynamite review. I might be able to squeeze both out on the same day, but then B Block is also in, I guess, that like 24-hour span. So there will be 3 videos in the next 2 days as far as like content. So we're going to try to get all of it. I can't promise. If anything, like worst case scenario, I may skip day 2 of Block B and lump it in with day 3 of A Block. That might be the case. So there will be maybe like a more extended version of the review. Or maybe I just wait and I record it in parts. The day A Block, day 2, and then B Block, day 2, and then edit those into like one big video. I've not decided yet, but I definitely am prioritizing the AEW review as it's something that I watch week to week, and it's something I can talk more about. While with New Japan, I'm just barely getting familiar with some of the Super Juniors right now. So, okay. For Joseph Yanez, this is the Joe Lee Podcast, Joe's Wrestling Reviews. I will see you tomorrow.